no sport on our planet does water find its figurative level quite like the beautiful sport of baseball. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Philly 6, Pirates 0. That was water finding its own level in a great, big, ugly splash. Almost nothing went right for the home team yesterday. Aside, I should say, from Marco Gonzalez got nicked for a couple of runs over 4 2/3 innings. Dennis Santana was strong in relief. After that, all I'm thinking when I'm watching Kyle Nicholas and Josh Fleming come in is that, you know what? Good. Use up the relievers that you don't want to be using in the far more important series against the Cardinals that opens tonight at PNC Park. And make sure you've got Aroldis Chapman and Colin Holderman and David Bednar ready to fire off when needed. So this ended a 6-game winning streak. This obviously snapped the chance to sweep the best team in Major League Baseball. And I'm not going to lie, I was there covering it. I wasn't moved by it really in any significant direction. And for that matter, when I brought it up with Derek Shelton afterward, neither was he.
Yeah, I mean, we played well against the best team in baseball. I mean, we didn't play great today, but I mean, to come back the first night and then to do what we did yesterday, you want to win every game, but to win 2 or 3 against that team and the way we played, I mean, we didn't play great today. But overall, I thought we played well on the weekend.
He's right. They had a nice weekend. You take 2 out of 3 from that team, you can live with a lot. You can live with the offense having 6 total hits yesterday, all of them singles, couple of O'Neill Cruz errors, one of them ugly, and it cost 3 unearned runs. And you just reach with your hand over to your shoulder and flick the dust off. I asked Brian Reynolds after the game how easy it would be to forget this game. He said, "What game?" So that's what you're kind of dealing with. It's one of what Chuck Tanner used to refer to as the 54 that you lose. Here's the thing from my own vantage point. I'm not here to show up on a Monday after they had wonderful wins on Friday night, another one on Saturday night, and then they lay an egg on Sunday, and I show up here for the first show after the weekend and go, they're so bad, it's terrible, and whatever. I can't do that. Right now, this team is a game over 500 after the All-Star break for the first time in 7 years. That's not Herculean progress. That's not satisfactory, I believe, but it's also not nothing. I can't have it both ways. I can't go pining for some sort of long, sustained stretch of winning, and then when they finally go about doing precisely that, blast them at the first opportunity that they lose. I will, however, say this. And this is more in a cautionary tone than anything else. Don't be getting blown up by the Cardinals here. I've seen St. Louis, right or wrong, as being really flawed and potentially really phony as a contender. They've had one of the worst run differentials in baseball, easily the worst run differential of anybody who's in the playoff picture, and they've been bound, speaking of water rising and or sinking to its proper level, for a big fall. Well, now would be a great time to help them make that fall, to push them down a flight of steps. Because, as I was intimating earlier with how important this series is going to be, this is one of those many teams that are in that pack that you can discard, that you can blow by, that you can forget were even there. Example, the Reds over the weekend got swept by the Nationals. Immediately after that happened, reports from reliable outlets circulated that Cincinnati management is looking at selling off certain rental-type players. That's all it'll take this time of year. Bear in mind that the general manager of your favorite team isn't the only one who likes to kick the can down the road, whether it's for good or bad reasons. I'm skeptical of Ben Cherington's reasons. I don't know anything nor care anything about the Reds' reasons. But I do know that GMs prefer to go, all in is always an over-the-top term, but something approaching all in at the trade deadline, or at least be a buyer at the deadline, when they feel some sense of security in doing so. Cherington did his weekly radio show yesterday, and I'll spare you these monstrous gobbledygook quotes. But suffice it to say that one of them involved the word math maybe 6 times, like in the same thought. Everything to Cherington was about how the winning of late contributes to the math that leads them to believe that they can make this type of move or that type of move. Dude, go get a bat and ask the other team what it is that they want for that bat. The other team's going to give you an answer. Then you look at the overall situation and you say, gee, we don't want to give up Bubba Chandler or Braxton Ashcraft, but we'll take your other guy off your hands over here who's going to cost you $4 million for the remainder of the season for no benefit. We'll do that. You want to do that? You don't need to have math. You don't need to have a couple of extra wins in July to have all of your analytics people going, that's it! That was the one! This was it, Ben! We've made it! We're there! We're there! Go ahead! Pull the trigger! When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q comes from Andy, who says, DK, first off, congrats on the anniversary. Andy's referring to DK Pittsburgh Sports as a media company turning 10 years old tomorrow. We're all very proud of that. We're going to be having a big bash at 224 Fifth Avenue downtown. You're more than welcome to come join us. Just drop by, say hello. Doesn't have to be anything formal. And Andy proceeds to ask, DK, you've often talked about how general managers will say that positional log jams will work themselves out. If you would have told me at the end of the 2023 season that the Pirates would be over 500 right now, and that neither Andy Rodriguez nor Henry Davis would be part of the catching picture, and somebody named Joey Bart is about as secure in that role as anybody in some time at that position, I would have been baffled. Where do you see that crucial position ending up by year's end, let alone 2025? Well, Andy, I also often saying that I'm not in the prediction business. I will tell you that taking the other two guys you mentioned one at a time, Andy is in a year-long rehab, making progress, actually going to be able to swing a bat soon. But the real issue with him is going to be throwing the ball, and that's not going to be something he's fully prepared to do until spring of 2025. Andy remains very much in this team's plans. There's no reason he wouldn't. And I happen to believe that Andy's going to hit at the big league level. I know he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but I also know that he has hit forever. Henry, of course, is a different case. He's in the minors right now, working his way back from a concussion, as well as trying to figure out, I guess, again, who he is at the plate. Henry made a lot of progress, I thought, this past spring defensively. Henry made what looked like a lot of progress this spring offensively, but I'm always warning people against taking any sort of numbers at the plate seriously, not just in spring training, but specifically in Bradenton, where the wind and that ballpark tend to skew the Pirates' numbers, even when they completely stink, even when they're a terrible 100-loss, 105-loss operation, they have really good spring numbers. My feel is that at the moment, Derek Shelton is liking what he sees of Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Grandal's also had some decent swings. In fairness to him, obviously not having a great season in the box. And then Bart was out there yesterday, of course, with the day game following the night game. Got himself on base. From what I hear from management is that they remain high on their future at the catching position in large part because of Andy and Henry. But now that they've got Bart in the mix as well, they might be dealing with an excess. They might not be dealing with anything at all. One never knows. To date, in the year 2024, the only one who has stepped up has been Joey Bart, to his credit. But we'll see where it goes. I appreciate the question. I appreciate the sentiment behind the question. It is an important issue for this team, not just this season. And I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow on our anniversary.